5 Unusual People in the World, Part 176. Hello you guys, I'm Keisha, and have a great day. We often think that we know the whole world, but that's not the case. Although science is very advanced today, there are still people with strange appearances. Sadly, that appearance was entirely caused by diseases. Join me to meet those people through this video. Are you ready? Let's begin. Number 5. Bùi Nhật Minh Tiến. Bùi Nhật Minh Tiến, born in 2000 in Vietnam, has an extremely strange face with an unusually large nose and red lumps emerging on both ears, on his abdomen, and on his back. According to the initial diagnosis of doctors, Tiến suffered from neurofibromatosis, requiring surgical removal of the tumor and long-term follow-up treatment. Not only that, the disease also seriously affected his health, causing him to have anemia and pneumonia. At birth, the baby's nose showed signs of bulging with strange little pimples. The parents took their child to the hospital, but doctors did not find anything strange. Tiến manifestations have not stopped. At 3 years old, his teeth still couldn't grow. His mouth began to shrink. His nose was longer, like an elephant's trunk. Despite being sick, Tiến still begged his mother to go to school. At first, she didn't agree because she was afraid that others would bully and tease her child. But then, he convinced his mother. The great thing is that he studies very well and is not inferior to ordinary friends. And in class, the children do not avoid him. They love this poor friend very much. Doctors removed tumors around the ears and nose twice. However, only a few months later, lumps emerged on the old incisions. Tiến face returned to its original monstrous state. The accompanying pain made Tiến unable to do the smallest things, like getting dressed or going to the toilet. He had to ask for the help of his mother. We all know the uncomfortable feeling of an itch. A light scratching can make us more comfortable. But this guy doesn't have that luck like us. How easy? Number 4. Phocas. Phocas is a poor man with a very strange body, with dark dense, dry, and uncomfortable patches on the skin. He suffered from pain and burning from the heel to the top of his head. His body was always in pain, and he couldn't spend a minute stopping scratching, because every wound on his body was itchy. 30 years ago, he contracted a strange disease of unknown cause. Since then, it has forced him to sell all his possessions, including all facilities and the whole land, to save his soul, but to no avail. All drugs are completely useless. The disease is getting worse every day. Neighbors always stayed away from him, thinking the disease could spread, but it wasn't. Sadly, his wife died early, leaving him with 2 children. Fortunately, despite all his difficulties, he still raised them, and they went to other cities to do business. He had been to the hospital. Doctors said he had a skin disease. They did all they could to treat. He took many medicines, but his condition got worse every day. He also used traditional medicine herbs, but nothing changed. Now, you can help him have a better life by donating through the link I put in the description. Everyone's life is different, and everyone's definition changes according to their mindset. This girl has the exact opposite definition from us, because the poor girl has a head that always turns upside down. Number 3. Mukayandambaje. Mukayandambaje is a poor girl who has been living backwards for more than 30 years. She always looked back because her head couldn't look forward. You may find her scary, but she is more beautiful than you think. It was difficult for her to find her way. Her mother said that she was born healthy like all the children. This strange disease appeared after she finished 2nd grade. When she was in 3rd grade, a lot of things happened. She lost her feather. It was a terrible thing. One day, she felt tired and went to bed. After a long sleep, her mother came in and saw her like this. Her neck seemed to be broken. She lay and did not move. Her mother said she was heartbroken by those who made fun of her. Many in the village thought her mother was a witch and cursed her child. Although she desperately wanted to take her baby to the hospital, she couldn't do it as she didn't have the money. Everyone in the village also went to the church to pray for her, but there was no change. She can't control her body, especially the left side, so she can only crawl, and that is the only way to move. Fortunately, God gave them the charity Afrimax they knew and helped this poor girl. Hope that she and her mother have an easier life. Number 2. Mvuyekure Omar. Mvuyekure Omar has a sagging, swollen, and ugly face. Sadly, entire families are being affected by this disease. A kind woman agreed to marry him. They had a child together and thought he would be a normal child. Unfortunately, his son also has the same disease as him. Mvuyekure Omar said when he was born, he did not have this disease. Everything changed a few years later. This disease started when he was young. When Omar was 2 to 3 years old, he started having headaches and a piece of excess flesh grew on his head. But at that time, they considered it normal, not a big concern. But the tiny muscle gradually grew and started getting bigger every day. As he got older, it got worse, and now he can't do anything. No one in his family has ever been affected by the disease, and he was the first victim. People took him to the hospital for a checkup, but all the doctors could do was give him painkillers, and surgery was needed. Growing up, Omar went to the hospital for surgery, but then his face flattened, stretched as if water inside. The deformity prevented him from going to school because all the children would bully him, and even his children can't because the kids are always teased. May God bless this poor family. We all know that the skin is very important. It completely protects the internal organs of our body, and many people spend a lot of money to get the best skin. Unfortunately, this girl never got that. Number 1. Hadjarat Mohammed. Hadjarat Mohammed was born in 1995 in Tanzania, a country on the east coast of Africa, with a very strange faith. She has no skin. What happened to her? How can she survive without it? The condition was so bad that at one point, some of the wounds became rotting. As a child, she went to school like all the children. But when she was in high school, one day, something happened that made her look different than before. One morning she woke up, finding that the skin on her head gradually changed like a snake skin. Unlike snakes that will soon have a replacement skin, she doesn't have that. Hair falls out gradually and completely disappears after a period. Doctors say that her skin has lost several important proteins that hold the skin together. It is thought to only affect 1 in 1 million people, and severe disease such as hers is rare. It leaves the patient vulnerable to severe infections, prone to skin cancer, and has a short lifespan. People with the disease often find it difficult to pass the age of 30. It made her feel very painful when sleeping, and even when eating. This leads to sleepless nights because of pain. It also caused her to drop out of school because she couldn't concentrate and just left in class. She has now been taken to India for treatment and spent 3 years here. Certainly, the hospital fees she would have to pay would be enormous. Admittedly, we are all extremely lucky as we still have food to eat, water to drink, and a light life without too much trouble. If you can, help them. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to watch more interesting videos. And now, goodbye and see you again.